Hazrat Khidr A.S., one of the most mysterious and revered figures in Islamic tradition, occupies a unique place in the hearts and minds of believers. Known as the time traveler and the master of ilm laduni, divine knowledge, his story is filled with profound lessons, divine wisdom, and an air of mysticism. In the Islamic tradition, Hazrat Khidr A.S. is often depicted as an eternal figure who transcends time, guiding chosen individuals, particularly prophets, and imparting knowledge that cannot be acquired through conventional means. Who is Hazrat Khidr A.S.? Hazrat Khidr A.S., also spelled as Khidr or Khizr, is a figure whose presence in Islamic tradition is widely acknowledged, although his story is not as explicitly detailed in the Qur'an as those of many other prophets. However, Islamic scholars and mystics have pieced together his biography from various sources within the Islamic texts, including the Qur'an, Hadith, and the works of classical scholars. Khidr's name itself means the green one, and his character is often associated with immortality and wisdom. He is considered by many to be a servant of Allah, blessed with knowledge that is beyond human comprehension. While there are debates among scholars regarding his exact identity and nature, Hazrat Khidr A.S. is often seen as a guide who appears when Allah's wisdom is required for a specific task or when a divine lesson needs to be taught. The meaning of ilm laduni, divine knowledge. One of the most significant aspects of Hazrat Khidr A.S. is his possession of ilm laduni, a special form of divine knowledge that is not acquired through formal education, scholarly pursuit, or worldly experiences. The term ilm laduni comes from the Qur'an, specifically Surah Al-Kahf 18:65-82, where Hazrat Khidr A.S. is described as possessing knowledge that was granted to him directly by Allah. This knowledge is not learned through study or reasoning but is given through divine grace. Ilm laduni includes profound spiritual wisdom, the ability to understand the hidden realities of the world, and insight into events that lie beyond human comprehension. This knowledge allows Hazrat Khidr A.S. to act in ways that may seem confusing or strange to ordinary people, but in reality, each action is imbued with divine purpose. His unique understanding of the world and the unseen is a central aspect of his role as a teacher and guide. The encounter with Prophet Musa, A.S. One of the most well-known stories of Hazrat Khidr A.S. is his encounter with Prophet Musa, A.S., which is chronicled in the Quran in Surah Al-Kahf 18:65-82. In this story, Prophet Musa, A.S., is seeking knowledge and guidance beyond what he possesses, and he is directed by Allah to find Khidr, a servant of Allah who has been granted a special kind of knowledge. Musa, A.S., embarks on a journey to meet Hazrat Khidr A.S., who agrees to allow him to accompany him on his travels, but with the condition that Musa, A.S., should remain silent and not question any of Khidr's actions. However, Musa, A.S., is unable to keep this promise, and he questions Khidr's seemingly strange actions. The three actions of Khidr. The first incident, while traveling by boat, Khidr A.S. deliberately causes a small harm by damaging the boat. Musa, A.S., is astonished and asks why he would harm the boat when they are on a journey. Khidr explains that he did this to protect the boat from a king who would have seized it. Here, Khidr's knowledge of the unseen is revealed. He acts with divine wisdom that Musa, A.S., cannot yet comprehend. The second incident, the pair then encounter a young boy, and Khidr A.S. kills him. Musa, A.S., is horrified and asks why Khidr would take such an innocent life. Khidr A.S. explains that the boy would have grown up to cause his parents great grief, and his death was, in fact, an act of mercy to protect them from suffering. This event underscores the reality that divine wisdom often involves actions that may appear harsh to human understanding but are ultimately for a greater good. The third incident, the final incident, involves Khidr A.S. repairing a wall in a town that had been unkind to them. Despite the town's refusal to provide them with hospitality, Khidr A.S. chooses to repair a crumbling wall. When Musa, A.S., questions why they would help people who were ungrateful, Khidr A.S. explains that under the wall, there is a hidden treasure that belongs to two orphaned children. The treasure would be revealed when they came of age, and by repairing the wall, Khidr ensures that the children are protected. These three incidents highlight the fundamental lesson of the story, that human understanding is limited, and Allah's wisdom is beyond our comprehension. Khidr's actions, though seemingly puzzling or unjust to Musa, A.S., were in fact acts of divine mercy and foresight. Hazrat Khidr's immortality. One of the most intriguing aspects of Hazrat Khidr A.S. is his apparent immortality. Unlike other prophets, who lived and died within the normal human lifespan, Khidr A.S. is believed to still be alive, having been granted eternal life by Allah. This belief is not universally accepted, but it is a widely held view in Islamic tradition. Hazrat Khidr A.S. is often seen as a timeless figure who continues to roam the earth, offering guidance to those in need, especially those seeking divine wisdom. The concept of Khidr's immortality is based on various interpretations of Islamic texts, although the Qur'an does not explicitly state that he is immortal. However, certain hadiths suggest that Khidr A.S. was granted a special form of life after meeting Prophet Musa A.S. In these accounts, it is said that Khidr A.S. is not bound by the normal rules of human existence and continues to exist in a state of divine grace. Hazrat Khidr's role as a guide. Hazrat Khidr A.S. is often regarded as a guide for those seeking spiritual enlightenment and knowledge. Throughout Islamic history, many mystics, scholars, and seekers of truth have claimed to have encountered Khidr in their own spiritual journeys. These encounters are seen as a form of divine guidance, where Khidr imparts wisdom and insight that cannot be gained through ordinary means. His role as a guide is not limited to the prophets alone. Many believe that he offers his counsel to anyone who is truly seeking divine wisdom. In Sufism, Khidr A.S. is often seen as a symbol of the inner knowledge that is attained through spiritual purification. He is associated with the quest for truth, and his story serves as a reminder that true understanding can only come from Allah. The legacy of Hazrat Khidr A.S. The legacy of Hazrat Khidr A.S. continues to inspire generations of Muslims. His story teaches humility, patience, and trust in Allah's wisdom. It reminds believers that their understanding of the world is limited and that they must rely on Allah's guidance in all matters. Hazrat Khidr A.S. ability to navigate the complexities of life with divine insight encourages believers to seek spiritual growth and to trust that every action, no matter how mysterious, has a higher purpose. In addition to his spiritual teachings, Hazrat Khidr A.S. is also seen as a symbol of hope. His immortality and continuous guidance suggest that divine assistance is always available for those who seek it, and that wisdom, though hidden, is always within reach. Hazrat Khidr A.S. and Dhul-Qarnayn A.S. It is said in some traditions that Hazrat Khidr A.S. was the chief advisor and companion of Dhul-Qarnayn A.S., the great king and righteous leader mentioned in the Qur'an, Surah Al-Kahf. Story highlights. During their travels to the east and west, Hazrat Khidr is believed to have guided Dhul-Qarnayn with spiritual wisdom while Dhul-Qarnayn carried out justice on earth. Some narrations suggest Khidr drank from the spring of life, Ain al-Hayat, during these travels, which is why he remains alive to this day by Allah's will. The Fountain of Life. This is one of the most famous stories in Islamic tradition. Hazrat Khidr and Hazrat Ilyas A.S. are believed to have found the Fountain of Life, a hidden spring that grants eternal life by Allah's will. Story highlights. Both set out on a divine mission to find it. Khidr reached it first and drank from it, gaining long life and eternal youth. Since then, many believe Khidr still roams the earth, appearing to righteous servants of Allah when needed. Hazrat Khidr A.S. and the Old Man. In a tale found in Sufi traditions, a righteous old man was once stuck in the desert without food or water, close to death. He prayed sincerely for Allah's help. Suddenly, a green-robed man appeared, gave him water, food, and advice for life. When asked who he was, the green-robed man said, "I am Khidr, a servant of Allah. When Allah loves his servant, he tests him, and when the servant remains patient, Allah honors him." The old man became a wali, friend of Allah, and later guided others to faith. Hazrat Khidr at Masjid al-Nabawi. There are many historical accounts from early Muslims and scholars that Khidr A.S. was seen at the Prophet's mosque in Medina, especially during times of difficulty or need. One account. A man lost in sadness came to the mosque. A stranger in green approached, gave him dua and hope, and vanished. The man later saw the Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, in a dream who confirmed. That was Khidr. 5. Hazrat Khidr and Rabi'a Basri, R.A. Rabi'a Basri, a famous woman saint of Islam, once prayed deeply, seeking closeness to Allah. One day, a man in green approached her, speaking wisdom beyond human reach. He said, "Be content with Allah alone, and you will never be alone." When she asked his name, he replied, "I am Khidr, servant of the ever-living." Hazrat Khidr A.S. stands as a monumental figure in Islamic tradition, an eternal guide, a master of ilm laduni, and a living embodiment of divine wisdom. His encounters with Prophet Musa A.S. and the lessons they contain offer valuable insights into the nature of Allah's wisdom and the importance of trust and patience in the face of life's challenges. The story of Hazrat Khidr A.S. invites believers to reflect on the deeper truths of existence, to seek guidance in times of uncertainty, and to recognize that Allah's wisdom is far beyond human understanding. As the time traveler and master of ilm laduni, Hazrat Khidr A.S. continues to inspire and guide those on the path of knowledge and spirituality. His legacy serves as a timeless reminder that the ultimate source of wisdom is Allah, and that the search for truth is a journey that transcends time and place.